Hello everyone, I'm Maria from the Pages of Ink, and today I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up. I read a total of 6 books in December, and I'm currently reading a couple more which I may finish today. Today's the 31st, so I'm just going to be sharing the books that I read. The first book that I read in December was The Fate of 10 by Pittacus Law. I actually made a book review on this video, so if you want to find out more about this book, then you can click on the screen here. I gave it almost 4 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great 6th book into the series, which was kind of going downhill for the past 2 books. So I was really happy with this new addition to the series, and yeah, I thought it was a pretty good book. The second book that I read in December was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I also made a book review on Court of Thorns and Roses, so you can click anywhere on the screen here and it will take you to that review if you want to find out more of my thoughts, but I gave it, I think now that I think about it, maybe 3.5 stars out of 5, or maybe 4 stars if I'm being nice. I thought it was a good book, but I had a lot of issues with it. For like the first 50% of the book, I was really not enjoying it, so that's why my rating is a bit kind of all over the place. I really enjoyed the ending, but I didn't like the start, and I struggled a lot during the start. The third book that I read in December was The Selection by Kiera Cass. I gave this book 3 stars. I thought it was an okay read. The writing style was quite simplistic, and I was probably looking for a little bit too much. I didn't enjoy some of the characters and some of the relationships. I didn't really like that much. I found the world building really underdeveloped, and maybe it increases during the rest of the series. It is a 5-book series, I think, but I thought the world building was really weak, and I didn't really like the premise of the book, but I thought it was a pretty solid read. I liked our main character, America, and I liked her relationship with Maxon. I did not like her relationship with Aspen at all. I did like America's voice. I thought she was strong and powerful, and she was refreshing throughout the constant Maxon drama. She didn't divert herself to pleasing Maxon. She just stayed who she was and then hoped that Maxon would enjoy her. And also the lack of insta-love between Maxon and America was really enjoyable, because I was scared that there would be that moment where, you know, Maxon would look out into the sea of 35 girls and then he would single his eyes down on America. But they had a really interesting relationship leading up to when they actually started liking each other. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid read, gave it 3 stars out of 5. The fourth book that I read this month was Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. I also created a book review, so you can click anywhere here to go see it. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great read. It was so interesting and so refreshing. I thought the characters were really good, and it talks about schizophrenia, and I thought it was dealt with in a really respectful manner. And I absolutely adored Miles so much. I loved his character. I loved reading about him, loved reading about the relationship between Alex, our protagonist, and Miles. It was just great. The fifth book that I read this month was Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I'm going to film a review on this book very soon, so when it is up I will link it here, but I thought this book was absolutely brilliant. I gave it 4 stars. Not 4 stars. I gave it 5 stars out of 5. I just loved this book so much. It is so unique. It's about 2 teenagers trying to escape from their planet, which has just been destroyed by a spaceship, and they end up on separate spaceships, and then the big spaceship that destroyed their planet is coming after them, and they have to try and figure out how they can save themselves before they get blasted into the emptiness of space. So overall, this was just so unique. It's told in a really interesting manner. You're presented with lots of random like transcripts and text messages and emails. I don't know if you can really see from here, but it's a really interesting format of book. There's pictures, it's so fun to read this book. You almost feel kind of like a detective or someone just reading through lots and lots of evidence and information, and I just loved reading this book, and yeah, I absolutely adored Illuminae. And the 6th and final book that I read this month was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I really liked the whole premise of the story, and I thought the world was super unique. It's about this girl called Alina, and she is an orphan, and she works as a cartographer, so she draws maps, and then one day she is put into this really scary situation, and this power comes out of her and unleashes, and so then she is classified as a Grisha and taken off to one of the castles to go and train as a Grisha. And the Grisha are kind of this elite class of people that live in this world that have kind of superpowers, and they're regarded as higher than all the regular humans. I loved all the Russian elements that were fused into this world. It wasn't set in Russia, it's set in a fantasy world, but you can almost imagine that it is Russia because there are lots of different ties. The language that they use, the names, they all have a Russian root to them. So I just really loved that aspect of the book. I liked Alina, I liked Mal, I enjoyed this book a lot. I thought it was a great read, it was nice and short, and it just made me feel good. But I don't know, there wasn't... It was a good book, don't get me wrong, but I'm not that invested in the story, although I do want to continue on with the series. I'm excited to see where it will go. Overall, it was a pretty good book, but I almost expected more of the story, which I didn't receive. So I will be continuing with the series, but it wasn't my favourite book of the month. My favourite book of the month was definitely Illuminae. It's just so good. If you haven't read this book already, you should totally go and read it. It's just really, really good. I absolutely love it. Those are the books that I read in December. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how many books you read this December or what your favourite book was for December. I hope you guys all have a happy new year, and I will see you in 2016. Bye!